What do you say we start today's video with Arlo stealing my office chair? There's a blanket on the back so he can stay nice and warm, but he'll sit on my desk and meow at me and say, "Hey, can I have my chair back?" And I'm like, "That's my chair." And he says, "Yeah, can I have my chair back?" So there's Arlo taking his nap. So, what do you say we sit down and do a blanket? And by do a blanket, I mean, let's sit down and talk about the blanket that I already made. Not let's actually make a blanket. Let's talk about the blanket that I finished. Hi, guys. How are you doing today? My name is Jennie. Welcome to Granny Square Peg, for anybody who's new here. So I've been obsessing over Lion Brand ice cream yarn because I had found it in my stash and I'm like, it's time to do something about it. I had already had a project started and I'm not sure what I want to do with it. That's actually going to be my next video. I'm going to need some help from you guys to figure out what I want to do with that other project. And then I'm like looking at the yarns I have because I'd picked up some at the thrift store recently. And by recently, I mean sometime in the last 6 months or so. And I was like, you know, I want to use the Lion Brand ice cream yarn and put it in a project. So I was taking a look at what I had. Sorry, I'm trying to readjust my microphone, find a good spot for it to sit. So Lion Brand ice cream yarn. They had two different versions back in 2015 and 16. There was the kind where it's a gradient color, you know, it starts off with darker and it moves into a lighter color and it moves into white. And they did it in a blue, a pink, a purple, a yellow, and this minty tealish green color. And I love it, right? It's beautiful. It's soft. Oh, and they also did the gray and white and then the brown and white, which I really like that one. So I'm not a big fan of the gray and white. I had some. My mom gave me some more. I actually just gave it all back to my mom because I'm not a big fan of the gray and white. So I decided to take this and then put it into a blanket. But then I realized I had other versions of Lion Brand ice cream yarn where they had more colors to them and not just a gradient effect. Like this one where it's got a pinkish red, some peach, some blue, two different shades of blue, maybe a blue and maybe a sea green. Okay. And I made a blanket out of them. Lemon swirl, tutti frutti, cake batter, love potion, and bunny tracks. Okay. That's the video before this one. If I remember, I will put the link down below so you can go check it out. So Lion Brand also made Lion Brand ice cream sprinkles yarn, which is a mouthful. So let's just call it sprinkles, where it is a white base and it has all these flecks and sprinkles of colors in there. Okay. This one here is got some green, pink, and orange, which is my favorite out of all these colors. And it's called Creamsicle. The next color I used is got pink, blue, and yellow, which is called, hold on, I have my notes. I want to say Berry Burst. Yeah, okay. So the blue, the pink, the yellow is Berry Burst. Okay. Next was Rainbow. Oh no, I'm sorry. I totally missed a color. Oh, let's rewind and go back and do that. The way I'm holding it, I so totally folded one in. Creamsicle is green, orange, and pink. Okay. Sorry. The Berry Burst is purple, pink, and yellow. See, I was wrong. This isn't Berry Burst. This is Rainbow. So Berry Burst is purple, yellow, and pink. Rainbow is pink, blue, and yellow. After that is Tropical, which is 2 shades of blue and yellow. After Tropical was Sherbert, which is purple, blue, and orange, which I really enjoy that one too. And then I went back to tropical, then to rainbow, then to berry burst, and then creamsicle. Creamsicle is still my favorite after all this time. So my blanket is finished other than I need to sew in the ends, okay? I'm always leaving those yarn tails out until the end. I don't like crocheting over the yarn tails when I'm doing such an open stitch blanket, and the granny can be very open. If I can stick my fingers through there like this, then I'm not crocheting over the ends because they'll pop out just like my fingers. So I leave it for the end, and I weave them in by weaving them through the fibers, because yarn is plies that are all twisted together. I will sew the yarn tails in through the plies so it will stay. Okay, so my initial starting chain, I want to say it was 150 because the other blanket was 180, and I wanted to be a good lap size blanket. It came out almost square. So this one I went a little shorter at 150, I think. I don't know exactly because for some reason I have misplaced that note. My beginning of the project notes, I seem to have misplaced that. So I had more yarn in the ice cream sprinkles than I did with the regular ice cream. So this blanket wound up taller. And I did 7 rounds of the border. I did 2 in this creamy white, 2 in this very, very pretty shade of pink, and then 2 more grannies in the cream color, and then 1 round of single crochet. So wound up doing 7 rounds on the border, but 2 granny, 2 granny, 2 granny in the creamy white, the pink, the creamy white. And I think I set this blanket off really nice. Really, really nice. I had a lot of fun making this one in tandem with the other ice cream blanket. Like, when I was still working on them both at the same time, I would switch back and forth. One night I'd work on the ice cream blanket, and then one night I would work on the ice cream sprinkles blanket. So here I'm going to show you the label. The labels don't look like this anymore, because I bought this back in 2015 or 16. I don't actually have the price or the date that I bought them. And I wish I did, but I don't. So here is the old Line brand label. You see how it says ice cream sprinkles. And all my labels have this little baby. And this looks like a granny square blanket. So like mine is granny in rows. It's back and forth in rows. It's not in square form, okay? Until I did the border, because then all borders are naturally in a square form, right? Because you're going around and around and around, whatever. So it's 100% acrylic, a number 3 light, or a DK weight yarn. It recommended a size G for a hook, but I went way down in my hook size because I wanted this blanket to be soft and not delicate, but yeah, delicate maybe. I went down to an E, which is a 3.5 millimeter. So the yarn came in, how big the yarn is, we do 2 different weights. There's the yarn weight on the thickness of the yarn. Then there's the yarn weight on how much the ball or the skein weighs. So 3.5 ounces, 100 grams, 394 yards, 360 meters. So there's the label. Okay. I'm sorry that they don't make the Lion brand ice cream sprinkles anymore. I'm truly sorry that I keep doing these projects with yarn from my stash and that you guys don't have, I mean, short of going to eBay, you might be able to find it, but even I was having troubles finding it. So I just used what I had and I used it all up. When I got done, because somebody will ask me down in the comments, how many rows did I get out of each color? For me, the point wasn't how many rows I can get out of each color. For me, it was as soon as I hit the end of the ball of yarn, I tied in the next color and just kept right on going. So I've got different numbers all over the place. The Creamsicle, because it's at the beginning of the blanket and at the end of the blanket, because I had 2 different skeins of it. I got 19 rows on the beginning end, and I got 20 rows at the end. And the reason why is because I also did the chain, and then the first row was single crochet. So that's why there's always a difference in the rows that you get. Berry Burst, I got 12 at the beginning, 9 at the end. For Rainbow, I had a full skein. I had 2 full skeins. I got 22 rows the first time, 21 rows the second time. The color Tropical, it was only 1 ball of yarn, but I had split it. I got 6 rows the first time, 12 rows the second time, and Sherbert's in the middle. I only had a small amount of Sherbert, and I only got 10 rows out of it because I had used the sprinkle yarn for another project, and I didn't like it, so I had frogged it. And most of them, except for Rainbow, that was still fully intact, and the Creamsicle, the other colors, they were, when I had frogged them, I wound up with little balls of yarn looking like this, and we all have bags like this, right? And then the bigger parts of the old project that I had frogged, I caked the yarn up. So something like the Berry Burst, I only have 1 label for that, which means I only had 1 ball of it. Okay, I only had 1 skein of Berry Burst, but because it was split for another project, I had 2 different cakes, but it was still 1 ball of yarn. If that makes sense, if y'all get that. Okay, so I do have leftovers here, and I plan on using them. Here's leftovers in this bag from when it was frogged years ago. Here's leftovers in this bag. And leftovers in this because my mom had used some of the same kind of yarn and gave me the leftovers. But then there's also random number 3 lightweight yarns in there from a different brand. I think I've got the same in here. Yeah, this is, I got some other number 3 light DK weight yarn in there. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. So I had 6 balls of yarn. Did I say all total? Let's see. Let's put them all back in order. I had them in order. Let's see. Creamsicle. Yes, I loved the Creamsicle. I did have 2 balls of the Creamsicle. I'm not sure how much I paid for these. I no longer have the receipts. So, you know, when it's on sale, it's $3 a ball. When it's full price, it's $6. So I split the difference and it came in at $4.50. So I'm just guessing that I paid about $4.50 each. Yeah, and I do have a date on when I bought them. It was 2017 for me. Wow, 8 years ago. 8 years ago. Wow, that's a long time to be holding on to yarn, which I would encourage all of you. If you've got yarn sitting in your stash, if you can't find the perfect project for it, make your own project for it and start stash busting. Let's get rid of some of that yarn that we own, huh? So yeah, I had Berry Burst. I had one skein that I split between 2 different ends of the blanket. Rainbow, I had 2. So that's 4, that's 5. Tropical, I had 1. And Sherbert, I had 1. So that's 7 balls of yarn. But the Sherbert wasn't a full ball, and part of it was used somewhere else that did stay in a project. So I'm just guessing on my overall totals. It's an estimate or a guesstimate, okay? You would need, at the minimum, 21 ounces of yarn, 600 grams, 2,364 yards, 2,160 meters. And that's not even including what I did on the border, okay? So for the border, I went to my stash to see if I can find a delicate looking yarn that would be soft and would have colors that would complement the ice cream sprinkles, right? So I have, let's see if I can get this label. Patons Beehive Baby Sport. Okay. This was a partial skein. This was a partial skein. And so was this one. So I'm not sure how much I used in order to do the border. These are 100 grams, 3.5 ounces. And for the pink, I still have a fair amount left. So I would only be guessing on how much I used. So yardage wise, I don't know. But I really like it. It is a number 3. Light DK weight. It is 70% acrylic and 30% nylon. And I like it. It's got, it is super soft. So that's what I used on my border. And pricing wise, these were not, when I bought these back in the day, for as tiny as they are, they were like, $5.49. So I would have to guess on how much I used in order to put it in my total for dollars spent on the yarn. So for the ice cream sprinkles yarn, I spent, let's say, $27 on 6 balls. I have it at 6 because there was not a lot of the sherbet color. So I rounded down. Timing wise, you know, 10 minutes a row, 8 minutes a row, stuff like that. I added it all up. I came in at 21 hours. I have all my information written down here, just like it did for the last video, but I'm feeling a little, off today, which you guys can probably see it. I'm doing this even though I don't know. I just haven't had any motivation to do the follow-up video. And I struggle with that. I struggle with, completing a task. I'm really good at planning it and starting it and working it most of the way through, but finishing it, I really do struggle. It's like, leaving all the yarn tails and then sitting it in your project pile and leaving it sit there for 10 years. And all they are yarn tails that needed to be sewn in. And I'll leave it. I have a problem with finishing things. So even when I'm doing these videos and I'm showing you the process of making a blanket, I don't want to finish it. I don't want to do the yarn tails. I don't want to write down all the notes. I don't want to figure out how many yards of yarn it was, how much money it cost me in the yarn, how much time I spent making it, and getting it into the washer and washing it, sitting down and filming the follow-up video for you. I don't want to do any of it. Writing up an Etsy listing so I can sell it. I don't know. I don't know how to finish. I don't know how to do the follow-through. So it's a struggle for me. Of course, I also get very frustrated with myself and beat myself up about it. But, you know, I know you guys know. I know you guys understand. So, I would like to lay this out on my bed so you can see the full effect, because you can't see the full effect sitting here. So, let's go lay it out on the bed and see how pretty it is, because I think it's absolutely beautiful. And I'll bring up the other ice cream blanket yarn. The other ice cream yarn blanket, so you can compare the two of them, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, you guys ready? Take a look at the beauty of this blanket. The colors, when you're standing this far away, it's so subtle to me, but they blend really well together. There's the creamsicle going into the berry burst, going into the rainbow, and then this small little bit right here is tropical, with a sherbet here going into tropical again, rainbow again, berry burst, and then creamsicle. And check out that border. Right? Nice and sharp. It's absolutely gorgeous. I had so much fun making this one, and I just realized when I laid it out on the bed, I didn't actually tell you how wide it was and how tall it was. It's escaping me at the moment. It is downstairs in my notes that I wrote before I sat down to film. But I enjoyed this one so much while I was working on it. It's so pastel. It's so soft. Do you want to see the new blanket on my bed? Check it out. It has little fabric cats on there. Ready? This is my new filming blanket. Because, you know, blankets that we use to sleep with are what we use to sleep with. But I found this at the thrift store. It's actually a duvet cover. It's white with purple polka dots. And I think purple trim. Yeah, purple trim. And it's a duvet cover. But I just throw it on my bed now so I can film on a nice clean surface. But these cats, they're killing me. I love them. They're so adorable. All right, so let's lay this blanket out. And then I'll add its sister blanket. All right. Ice cream sprinkles. And no ice cream. Okay, let's step back. Now this is the Lion Brand ice cream yarn. Lion Brand ice cream sprinkles. Wow, aren't they gorgeous? But same type of yarn in different colorways gives you a different vibe for each blanket. Like this one says fun. This one says soft and delicate. This one says, yeah, it's rambunctious with its color. Soft and delicate. I love the contrast between these two blankets. Oh my God, it's gorgeous. So, here we go. Give you a close-up of the two of them sitting right next to each other. I tell you, I couldn't pick a favorite. I love them both equally. And they both make my heart happy. Truly. Right? Let's go like that. Wouldn't it be neat if they could both go to the same home? A brother and sister combo or something, you know? Wouldn't that be neat? Or a mom and baby, grandma and baby. Oh, that would be so much fun. All right, so let's get back downstairs. I'll check my notes and see what other kind of information I need to give you. I'm also going to take some pictures of this real quick for Etsy, even though I haven't done the yarn tails yet. Okay, so what did I forget to tell you? The finished size of the blanket. This one wound up being 43 inches wide by 61 inches tall. So that's actually pretty tall. That's 5 feet. And the other one, the first one I had made, was, yeah, it was closer to being square. It was 50 inches wide by 55 inches tall. So while this one is not as wide, it is a bit taller. And it's only because I had more yarn, I think, than the other one. But what do you guys think? I mean, I do have a tendency to take multiple yarn colors and stick them together in the same project. I have a feeling it's very much a thing that I like to do. This isn't the first time I've done it, and I always second guess myself, but I think it always works out in the end. I think the colors worked really well on this blanket together, and definitely on the other ice cream yarn blanket. I just I think it's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. I don't know why I don't know how to finish things and follow through with things, but yeah, no, I'll figure it out someday. So, what is next? I had a Lion Brand ice cream yarn project that I had started in 2015 and 16, but I didn't go anywhere with it. I actually got very stuck. So it's been sitting and waiting for me to do something about it. So that's what my next video is going to be, because I'm going to ask you guys to give me some help, okay? Now I'm going to show it to you real quick. Okay, here's the first one I did. It's in a linen stitch, which is just, you know, single crochet, chain one, single crochet. And it's in the blue color that they had. There is 2 balls in this blue, okay? But it came out very narrow. But it came out long. So I did this, and then I did it in pink and white. It's the same size as the blue one. Tall and wide, okay? And then I did it in the banana split color, which they no longer make this color. Look at that. The banana split would have been really good in my Granny and Rose blanket, but I hadn't found it yet. So, you know, if I had found it in time, I would have frogged it and added it into the Granny blanket. So again, this is done in a linen stitch. And then I did it in the gray and the white. And this is when I realized I actually don't like working with the gray and white together. It's not my favorite colorway. And I tried putting a border on this one in the black, but it didn't work. So the black's definitely coming off. So I've got these 4 little itty bitty panels, but I'm not quite sure what to do with them. I got completely stuck. And I was like, well, maybe I'll just stitch them together and put them all in one blanket, in one project. But color-wise, it just doesn't go. So I got really stuck. But since then, Lion Brand has come out with other colors. And I'm a little bit more experienced with being creative and doing my own thing. So I think I came up with an idea. So I'll do that in the next video. I will lay all these out. I will give you dimensions and whatnot on this, and then I will give you my idea of what I was thinking of doing with it. Because if I do what I was thinking, I would actually have to pause the project to actually order some yarn online. Because while my Michaels sells the Lion Brand ice cream in the big ball of yarn that they call ice cream scoop, they don't have a tremendous amount of colors. So it would just be better to order it from Lion Brand's website. So that will be my next video, because I'm still completely obsessed with the Lion Brand ice cream yarn. And I want to work until my obsession stops scratching at my brain. And until I'm fully satisfied. And then I can move on to the next yarn that I want to get obsessed about, right? Because I think that's how it works for me. I think I have an obsession, and I have to go with it. I think with this one, I might frog this and send the yarn to my mom, because she's using this gray color on a project of her own. So I think I just might frog this one. So it would leave me with the pink, the blue, and the banana split. But I definitely have an idea. Okay? And then all these little leftovers. Since I'm doing a yarn organization video and I'm getting all my yarn into one spot, I will take these and I'll label them and say number 3 light, DK weight yarn. And I'll leave a note in there saying that most of it is Lion Brand ice cream yarn. And we'll come up with a scrappy yarn project for it. You know, maybe you guys can give me your ideas on the best scrappy yarn blankets and projects that you come across on the internet. You know, maybe we'll make that another crochet along like I did with my Karen Cakes leftovers blanket. Okay, which that one is still on my bed. All right, so I think that's it for today. I think I gave you all the information I can think of. Of course, if I missed something or I wasn't clear on something, just ask down in the comments below. I do everything I can to answer your questions. Oh, I told you guys that my husband likes to write up the Etsy descriptions for me because he's very poetic, but he's been a little busy at work lately, his daytime job. He works in an accounting office. It's tax season. He won't stop being busy until like May. So it'll be a little bit before I get these blankets listed, because I do think my husband is beautifully poetic when he writes descriptions on the blankets. So since that's his part of the job, it'll be a little bit longer because his daytime job has got him very busy for the time being. All right. So I think that is it. Anything else? No. Okay. My next video coming out should be in a couple days. I'm doing a Hobby Lobby yarn haul that has been like 6 months in the making. Okay. I'm still working behind the scenes on my patchwork squares blanket. I've been just sitting at my computer working. So I needed some more squares for my blanket. So I will be coming. I'm hoping to get it done before the summer because it's going to be too hot to work on it. We think our air conditioner is broken. We have a big house air conditioner. We think it's broken, so we might not use it for the season. So if I'm going to work on that patchwork squares, I got to do it soon. And then I also started another project that's sitting on my desk, and I've been obsessing about that one for the last couple days. So I seem to be in a bit of an obsessive phase about things. I'm trying to curb it a little bit, but sometimes I also just go with it. So you guys know how much I love you, and I appreciate you all being here listening to me ramble about things, all my random projects with discontinued yarn that you can't get anymore, but you can find similar yarns. Okay, I was just at Lion Brand's website, and they have their mandala in string form. They're calling it mandala string. It is a #1, super fine. And I think it was an acrylic nylon blend in some really pretty colors. So, I mean, you can do something similar. And I know Premier's got, it's got yarn that has the speckles in it like this. They've got one called Painterly, and I think they have one in their cotton version, So, I mean, you can find comparable yarns that would still do the job, that will look like this if you want to make a blanket like this. So I think that's it for today. Let's go do some edits and do some uploads, and I will catch you guys later. Love you. Bye.